Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage, and I'm sorry. So I promised you guys in the last video that we would be getting the engine update and all that with the computer and all in this episode, but we have a few hurdles we're working through. So I want to cover all that information kind of in one video, so that way all your questions are answered at once, because I know, if I went through it now, there'd be more questions, but I just want to knock that all out in one shot. So that's going to have to wait until probably sometime next week. So you will see some things that we haven't done yet. You haven't seen me done yet. Man, I can't talk. Stuff that you haven't seen me do yet, but you'll see it later, even though it's already done. So anyway, I know, confusing, right? So anyway, that update is coming. So the first project on today's agenda on the race truck is actually our radiator. So as you can see, I have it kind of mocked up. We just have a couple pieces of angle iron we're going to be using for brackets. It's thicker material than I probably would want to use, but it's what we have available. And I think it'll actually provide the structure we need, rather than getting into doing tube with, tabs on it and all that. I think if we just weld this angle iron down to the frame and bolt up the radiator, we will be good. And if we need a little extra support, we can run a bar off of our down bar over there coming out for the cage. Now, the radiator, as it sits here, is about 50 inches to the top of it, which puts it higher than the highest point on the engine for coolant. So we should be able to work all of the air out of the system. Not that the system's real elaborate, really. It's gonna come out of the radiator, go into the pump, go into the engine block, probably down bottom, I guess, and then, or not down bottom, in the back of the head, and then come out the top of the head, and then go into the top of the radiator. So that being said, if you guys remember, I picked this thing up for steel off of Facebook Marketplace. So guy local to me had this. We were able to pick it up for next to nothing compared to what they go for. You can spend a lot of money on these setups. And I really honestly don't know how big of a radiator we need, but this thing has a sizable core, sizable fan, and is extremely light, all aluminum construction, very nice. It's by Raceware Cooling Systems. I looked up their website and I think they are no longer in business. So we did have to modify the radiator. As you guys can see here, we have two 12AN ports, which is the same as the ports in our pump and on our head. It actually originally had hose ends on it, so I welded these on, if you guys can see. Oh, I got zoom. What am I doing here? So as you can see, we got that all welded on in the bottom and up top. So we are good to go. We are going to have a complete system that is all threaded connections. So I want to get this thing mounted up so that way I can take good measurements, figure out how much hose we're going to need to run, back and forth to that from the front of the truck. Just that way we can order all our fittings, get everything here at once, and get this thing plumbed up. So that's our first objective, is to get that thing mounted, get measurements, get our parts ordered, and hopefully they'll be here in a few days. So once again, sorry about not having an engine update for you today, but I want to cover that all in one shot. But it is coming. Stay tuned, hopefully next week. So let's get to it, get this thing mocked up. Well, it already is mocked up. Let's get it installed. So our radiator's in. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Just a basic, simple mount, just two pieces of angle iron. It's pretty sturdy. I mean, really, when I'm rocking it like this, it's shaking a whole truck. So I'm happy with that. We'll see when we get some water in it, you know, if if we have to add any support. I don't expect that we will, but yeah, like I said, very happy with how that all turned out. So yeah, dang that's for sure. So also got our pump mounted. So I mounted the pump right underneath of the radiator. So when we come out, let me get on the other side here. Basically, we're gonna come out of this fitting here, go into our pump, and then up to the front of the cab to the head. I still have to get my measurements of all of our AN line that we're gonna get, but then the other one will come back and it will go return into the top here, and that is how it's gonna flow. So got the pump mounted, as you guys might be able to see. I do have it cocked a little bit just to kind of line it up with the frame rail and make it easier to make this transition. But yeah, basic, but it works. I'm very happy with the whole setup. It looks good and nice and clean, that's for sure. So that's done. We're gonna move on to our other project this evening. I have no idea how far we're gonna get, but it involves front clip. So when we first did our front clip, we were getting everything figured out. I put these two posts for our push button latches in these upper corners, and that was great for getting everything lined up and all that. The only problem is once we got our hinge all figured out, when I slide it forward, I kind of got to fiddle with it to get it in the right spot, because the bottom of these latches want to catch on either the Lexan or the post itself. So I got to kind of pick it up and kind of go back and forth 2 or 3 times. So I want to build either, like build some kind of like a little ramp to get it up onto that. I'm not 100% sure, but I want to work on that. And then either tonight or later on, we can start working on how we're going to get our fender to match our door. You know what? Let me flip it down. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So as you guys can see, just kind of got to go back and forth to get it to kind of go where it wants, because it starts grabbing the Lexan on one of the sides, and then it puts it off kilter. You got to pick it up and kind of move it around a little bit. So I want to try and fix that, and then we can get to figuring out what we're going to do down here with some other push button latches to get this so it's sitting out. But we got to figure out a way we can do that and then still preserve our slide motion and all that. So I don't know 100% what it all looks like, but we're gonna figure it out. All right, so the front clip, getting it lined up, has completely kicked my butt tonight. I was trying to get this part to line up. Oh, first off, to get it on our latch here, I was able to figure out how to get that in right. I shaved some stuff down and all that, but also basically when I'm putting the front clip on, before I was just pushing it forward. So now what I'm doing is kind of pulling up on the top to raise the back and then pushing it in, so that way it's clearing all this stuff and then it lands right on there. The one on the passenger side actually tends to latch itself, which is pretty nice, and then you just got to come over and push this one. till it closed, and then kind of pull up and then push in. Then we're good to go. So fiddled with that for quite a while until I realized, hey, if I just change the process I'm using to close the hood or to slide it up, I can do it, and everything was good. Because it's kind of odd because these things are at an angle and then they're angled out a little bit, so it's just kind of an odd place for those push button latches, but we are able to make it work. So as far as the fitment, after that, figuring that out, I figured, oh, we'll just do this, just be nice and easy. Yeah, no. Another one we struggled on and we still haven't gotten completed. Right now I just have this aluminum angle iron just zip screwed in there to give it, just kind of like a test fit. And I was able to get it, but it's sticking out too far now, which isn't a big deal. We could always shave this down, but we're not going to just use this aluminum. What we'll do is we'll weld something in there. But I'm liking that, just something simple to, as the body comes down, kind of force the fender out. And then what I'm thinking and hoping is that by doing that, it'll force the rest of it to kind of shoot out this way. So if we put push button latches like 2, maybe 3 on the side, when you pop that latch or when the front clip comes down, it'll push everything out far enough that the back side, the back side of the push button latch isn't sliding down and hitting all the little studs. So that's something we got to play with. Like I said, probably going to do something similar but with steel here, and then we can just weld something in, shave it down till it's perfect around the edges, all that. But then we have just one little piece, because I had looked at making a plate and I had actually tacked a couple on there, and I just couldn't get it right, and kind of looked goofy having the plate here. I mean, just for our setup, I don't think that was going to work. But with this just one simple piece of angle that we weld in there, we can get the desired effect, and it might help us with the rest of it. So that will be a project for another evening, as it is getting rather late. So struggled on some stuff in the garage tonight as far as the front clip goes, but I think we have a good kind of plan of attack going forward. I do have to get more push button latches. I thought I had enough to do that, but anyway, if we get it to where everything's to where we can get it lined up, that's not an issue. We can order parts and wait for them. But we already did order parts for our radiator. I measured it out. By my measurement, it came to like 22 feet. So I ordered a 20 foot and a 5 foot length of 12 AN line. I ordered 2 90s for back here, a 90 for the top of the head, a 45 for the back of the head, and then 2 straight fittings for the pump itself. So that's coming from Summit. With everything going on in the world today, I think their tracking said it's probably going to be here like end of next week. Not a big deal. We still have plenty of stuff we got to do. Multitude of wiring we still have to do and all that. So we got stuff to do. Waiting on those parts, but we're not ready to put water in it yet. Anyway, it's April, so here in Pennsylvania it shouldn't drop below freezing, but you never know. Not that in the garage it will, but just, you don't want water, just plain water in there, which is what I was told to run. That, and when you get into like pro classes and stuff like that, you're not allowed to have any water, or you're not allowed to have any coolant, because it's harder to clean off the track than water. So we're going to be running straight water in the truck. So anyway, guys, we struggled with some things. We had some things that worked out, but that's just another night in the garage. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Get out in your garage, get the wrenching on your truck.